Only 26% of Etsy shops are successful enough to earn someone a full-time income. That means that according to Etsy, 74% of Etsy shops will eventually fail. Why is this? After selling over $1.7 million on Etsy and hearing from over 6,000 Etsy sellers about the struggles they face every day on the platform, I wanted to talk about if Etsy is still a good platform to sell on in 2025. Because let's be real, Etsy has been a gold mine over the last 5 years, but why should someone start on it today? And is it even a good idea? So I wanted to reveal the most outdated Etsy strategies that will not work in 2025. And instead, I will give you the new strategies that will skyrocket your sales as a new shop. I will show you examples of newer shops that started within the last 12 months and that have scaled to 6 figures with these new Etsy strategies. If you have 1 hour per day, this can work for you. The first outdated strategy is looking to see what is selling on Etsy to decide what to sell on Etsy. And this doesn't work because number one, with so many online boutiques and brands popping up, Etsy is actually one of the last places to get trends. Instead, this new strategy is actually finding trends outside of Etsy that have not yet made it to the platform. So here you can see we went to Allura. This is just an estimate. When you click on this, it doesn't know if it was on sale, if it was full price, what variation it was, but you could say, oh, this did $2 million. So with the outdated strategy, we would say, okay, I'm going to sell a Comfort Colors personalized pet shirt. Maybe I'm gonna tweak the font. Maybe I'm gonna make it a different color font, maybe a more retro font. Let's take a look at this listing. 6 people bought it in the last 24 hours. They have all the different sizes, all the different colorways. The shop itself, 35,000 sales. My question here would be, how are you planning on competing with this listing? And also, this has been trending for a long time. You can look at the estimated sales here, and the highest sales were actually more than 12 months ago, which means this product peaked over a year ago. That is why we do not want to be copying what's already allegedly trending on Etsy. And by the time it had peaked on Etsy, this type of a trend had already been successful outside of Etsy. So it was about 6 to 8 months late over a year ago. Here is an example of Judith March. This is a retailer and a brand that is ahead of the trends consistently. We want to see what is coming up. Okay, we see bows done in new ways. I have not seen any bows on sleeves like that on Etsy. Certainly not over a dress like that. Denim jackets, very popular. Never seen it with a large bow on the back before. Okay, this is interesting. So we've seen definitely pickleball, but I have seen a theme of golf in this shop as well. And here we see it again with this little toddler pullover. As we scroll through, we also see the horse trend. Wow, we see it in many different ways, the horse trend. Plus we're seeing the quilted trend come into play, where it's kind of the appearance or the illusion of a quilted item. So stop spying on other shops and copying them, because you won't win and you'll always be chasing. You'll never become the market leader that way. Now that's all great, but just looking outside of Etsy for product ideas will have zero impact if you're using outdated imagery. There is an old way to do your photos and a new way, and I'm gonna break it down for you. So the old strategy is putting props in the mockups that are more trendy to try to make your items look more trendy. The reason this doesn't work is because most Etsy sellers who do this, they don't change their mockups fast enough to keep up with the trends. They're walking into 2025 with outdated mockups that are filled with 2016 espadrilles, 2018 farmhouse style beads, and super outdated denim, which by the way, you can tell by the wash. Not to mention the biggest culprit is the bright green eucalyptus. We've got to get the green eucalyptus out of these photos. So one of my big recommendations is to focus on mockups without props. Outside of props, there's other ways to elevate your images, and that is through lighting. We see this with Anthropologie. Oftentimes they don't have props in the background, but maybe the background color could be trendy, or the color combination of the background with the color of the product. That could be a trendy combination. We see plain background, but there is visual interest. They're using different color backdrops. They're not just all white. There's some nice contrast happening. There's kind of a two-tone effect. There's also layers, right? Where it's not a trendy prop in it, but it's actually the same color as the other part of the background. Now I want to mention Pinterest real quick as you're doing your photos, it is very important to do a mix of both trendy and timeless with your pinned images. You could consider having 2 per listing, and the trendy will get faster traction, but timeless will be your consistency once that trendy image phases out and it's on the tail end. Let's go through an example of this shift in mockups for 2025 imagery. This one here with the whitewash shiplap look, very outdated. Even this one here with those beads, that's an outdated prop. This one, polarizing. These Converse shoes, that is one of the most polarizing types of footwear that you could put into your photo. People love them or they hate them. I would never recommend having something super polarizing in your mockup. This is also very, very dated. This footwear style, the eucalyptus. And now you might think, okay, I'll just update a few of my mockups and see what happens. Well, if you start to mix in more modern, updated mockups with outdated images, it is still going to make customers question what's in the rest of the shop. We really want to change our approach with mockups in 2025 to have fewer props that will make us look outdated much sooner. Revamp your mockups, make them more timeless. And if you're really wanting to boost your sales in this new phase of Etsy, you'll combine those strategies with this next strategy. And this strategy is all about curating. Customers in 2025 will pay you to make the hard decisions for them. Gone are the days of offering your Gildan sweatshirt in every single color, and gone are the days of offering every font option possible. Options in 2025 no longer have the same value as they did in 2019 and 2020. Now customers, especially the most profitable customers, value their time more than money, and they value a curated shopping experience. So think about the rise in brands like Viore, Lululemon. Think about this in the food space like Aldi, or in fast food, right? Chipotle, Raising Cane's. They have a simple curated product mix. And this makes the decision-making much less effort for the customer. They trust the choices that the retailer has narrowed down for them. And these are not choices that are so close where people have to mull things over. If you really feel like one, you likely don't feel like the others. That is going to be really key in increasing your conversion rate. So what if you do these strategies in 2025? And let's say you're still feeling like you're not finding success on Etsy. Well, I have found there might be one thing that is actually preventing you from success. And this is an outdated strategy that most people failing on Etsy right now are using. I'm talking about the casual business growth approach. This is where you are slowly tweaking things, treating the business a little bit like a hobby now, and it's approaching Etsy in a more casual way. So maybe you're watching videos here and there, maybe you're trying a tip and a trick. Disclaimer, this did work on Etsy in 2020 because there was less competition, and that just meant you had to do less to compete for a sale. Now, the new way to approach Etsy in 2025 is approaching it like you are ripping off the Band-Aid. All gas, no brakes should be your motto for Etsy in 2025. This is the way I started my coaching business, and it's how we help students start their Etsy shops. It's really because your shop quality score impacts the success of your shop more than ever in 2025. On top of that, your order velocity matters more than ever when it comes to that shop quality score. If you don't get a sale within your first 2 months, you are basically screwed on the new Etsy. And I would say you might as well start a new shop. Now, if you're saying, oh, I got a couple sales, well, buying your own products doesn't count because it does not establish product market fit and it won't align with the click-through rate that Etsy is tracking for that listing. So when you start a new shop in 2025, you have to come out guns blazing in attack mode. It would not work with the shop to keep updating it very slowly. Instead, it really needs a full rip-off of the Band-Aid. Listing images are quite outdated. The pricing strategy needs to be revamped. SEO is completely off. So this shop, it's been on Etsy for months now. Because the shop quality score here is so negative, it's going to take a very high order velocity to get unstuck. One of my students actually had over 1,000 listings. She updated them within a few weeks. 2 weeks after the changes, she started getting orders daily. Her 150 views a day went up to 1,000 views a day. She got repeat customers, made $600 a day, bestseller badges, and a minimum of 5 orders a day, even after Christmas. She did not not have to create any new listings, but she did rip off the band-aid and updated over 1,000 listings in 3 weeks. For all the people who are starting a new shop in 2025, and maybe they are telling you that Etsy no longer works, take a look at what they're doing, because I can almost guarantee that they have been using these outdated strategies that no longer work on Etsy. And now we talked today about finding trends and products that are not yet popular on Etsy. Click here to watch my full trend breakdown, where I provide you with trends that are not yet saturated on Etsy that you can put into your shop today.